There's three things you need to get an anonymous email account. You need to create a new email account. There's no way around that. Your current account is already exposed. Two, you always need to apply this method, because if you stop at any time, you have already exposed your account and there's no going back from that. There's no fixing that. And three, you will never be able to use an anonymous email account directly from an app on your phone, such as Gmail. There is a way to do it, and we will talk about it later in the guide. But as it is, phones are too identifiable with the likes of GPS tracking and many other trackers that can be used to identify you, so it's a big no. Your IP address and the fact that browser fingerprinting exists. When you use a computer, even if your IP address changes, a lot of the things are still the same. You still use the same graphics card, the same operating system, the browser you're using is the same, unless you changed recently. Your device language is the same, screen resolution is probably the same unless you updated your monitor. A lot of the factors are still the same. And alone these things mean nothing. But combined, they create a unique digital fingerprint that can be used to identify you. That's why it's so important to remove browser fingerprinting if you want to have a truly anonymous email account. To do that, you need to spoof browser fingerprinting, and this is where Camileo comes in as a tool that allows you to change your browser fingerprint, meaning that you can look like someone on a Mac OS when you are on Windows. The key here is to select settings that are different to what you currently have, but that aren't necessarily too complex to complicate your life. When you select the first settings, you click on search. Now select a profile that matches your needs and press on next. Now you'll be given a chance to customize more advanced settings such as canvas or screen resolution. By the way, if you're confused by anything at any point, just click on it, and at the bottom Camileo will explain what it does. Now press on next. At this point you'll be given an option to select a proxy. And this is a super important part. Without a proxy or a VPN included, whether through Camileo or separately, you will not be able to have an anonymous email account. Changing your browser fingerprint is important. Having a different IP address is also important. In this step, select the type of proxy you would like to use and put in the details from your proxy or VPN. If you already got a VPN or a proxy, that's great. If not, we recommend you use Luminati, which has millions of IP addresses, and we actually have a little discount for you in the link in the description if you would like to check it out. Lastly, go to the fonts and plugin settings and launch the browser. And just like that, a new window launches that is running on a completely different browser fingerprint that is of any of your other tabs or windows or browsers. And most importantly, that window is fully anonymous. And actually, when you finish with Camileo later on, you can save that profile. And the next time when you're launching, you can use the same exact profile, meaning that you will not be looking suspicious to Gmail and so on every single time you log in with completely different settings, which is obviously kind of suspicious. And when you've done all of that, now you can start to create your anonymous email account. There's a few things we need to address. Most importantly, don't provide the right details, because that might give away that SU. If you want an anonymous email account and you're giving away your details, that's really kills the point of having an anonymous email account. At the same time, don't make it seem like it's a fake account, because that will decrease your email open rate, and obviously you want your emails to be opened. Number two, make sure the email address doesn't relate to anything that can be used to identify you. Going back to not giving away too much details, it's important to create an alias for your name, as otherwise that's a clear link towards who you are. In most cases you will not need to provide a phone number, but if you're asked to do that, use a virtual phone service like Sadarma, Sonatel, Fritzphone. There's a lot of weird sounding companies that are hard to pronounce. We'll link them in the description. Of course, depending on your actual needs, you might not need to take extreme steps like this. What you'll need to do is you will need to connect to Camileo on your computer, selecting font settings, and then type in the details on the Camileo app on your Android phone, and then use the browser from the Camileo. If you do a superb job thousands of times, but you forget that one time, that's not good enough. You need to make sure that no matter what you do, you always do it. Otherwise, it's gone. Your privacy is gone. But at the same time, there's also another aspect that you need to consider. It's you giving away too much information about yourself and somebody choosing to screenshot what you wrote. That's an issue we cannot help you with. You need to be able to know which people are trustworthy, which aren't, which are worth sharing the details with, which aren't. Otherwise, you are putting yourself at risk.